We have another special guest on Coug Fan TV, new incoming transfer via High Point University, Simon Hildebrandt. He signed on Sunday night. Take us through that, initial signing and Coach Riley and the staff, reaching out to you and then sealing the deal.
Yeah, I mean, I hit the portal. I was in the portal for about a week. And Coach Riley and staff hit up me and my agents. And, we first sat down with a Zoom meeting just so I could kind of get a feel for them and the staff and how they want to play and how I kind of fit into their system. And, right when I first met him and he kind of showed me how they play and just, getting to know all these people on the staff like further throughout the week, just watching how they play and his system and how they use guys like myself just was music to my ears. It looked somewhere where I wanted to play. And then, I got on campus last weekend and just, again, getting to meet these guys in person and spend more time with them and, just get shown around campus. It just seems like a perfect fit to me.
Yeah, you come from Winnipeg, Canada. I'd say you're probably used to the cold. Are you excited for what the Palouse brings? What'd you get out of visiting Pullman?
Yeah, I mean, it was beautiful when I was there. So I don't know if it's like that all the time, but I mean, I've been in Winnipeg a long time, so I don't think anything will be too cold for me. And yeah, just being
Yeah.
able to go to campus and see campus with my own eyes and get a tour of the facilities and meeting people over the Zoom meeting is completely different than getting to spend a whole day with them in person. So
You mentioned your trust in Coach Riley and the staff. They play a really fun brand of offensive basketball. Uh, Dane Erickstrup, Ethan Price were kind of his two stretch fours that he had over the past 3 years. What did you see? Did you watch any of their tape or just see how they play in the system? Did that kind of give you a little bit of a better idea of what WSU does on offense?
1,000%. That was a big part of Coach Riley's recruitment to me is he showed me all that stuff on these two guys, and he's like, I see you being exactly like these guys, and you see how successful they were. And then I also actually reached out to both of those guys and just asked them like right before I got on campus, and I was like, hey, like, what are your opinions on the coaching staff and WSU and all that? And they both just spoke nothing but amazing things about the coaches, the way the team is run, the school, and after hearing all these positive things from other people, and like you said, they were kind of like those stretch fours, kind of like I am, and just seeing how Coach Riley can put both of them in such successful positions, both at Eastern Washington and at Washington State, just show that, hey, like, I believe that I can be just as successful in that role next year.
You were part of history last year with High Point. First team in history of the school to make the NCAA tournament. You guys were a 13 seed. I had you guys in the Sweet 16, Simon. I really did. Yeah, a tough game against Purdue. But what did you take into that season, learning from a 29 win season, going to the NCAA tournament? What do you think that did for you going into your final year?
Yeah, I mean, winning is hard. Winning is always hard. So I think it was just cool to be a part of a very successful team, and then we kind of just was able to learn like how we carried ourselves and sort of things that made us successful, like the cohesiveness of our team. And I mean, our we won our conference tournament to get in. The Big South is a one bid league. We had some adversity. We had a really close semifinal game. We were down double digits in the second half of our conference final game, and obviously got into in March Madness and played Purdue, who's a very good team. You got first team All American point guard, all this stuff. Been to the Final Four, so you're showing that, hey, like, there's some small school in North Carolina can compete with them, and like we were in that game the whole game. Just showed, hey, like, if you kind of band together with the group of guys you got, like anything is possible. And so just having that experience and getting there my first year playing Division One, I think it's just awesome. It just motivates me more to do it again with another team. I think this team that Coach Riley is going to build has so much potential.
One stat that really stood out for you on barttorvik.com was your offensive rebounding efficiency as well as your defensive rebounding efficiency. Was that something that the staff told you is, hey, like, we need to get guys that can come in here and rebound the basketball? That was something that was missing last year for this team.
Yeah, Coach Riley mentioned that he thought I could help with the rebounding this year. So I mean, I think that's something I can hope I can help us out with this year.
Yeah, and you shot 73% from the free throw line, 48% from the field and I think right around 40% for your 3-point percentage. Take us through your game for Cougs that have yet to see you play. What are you going to bring to the court, film wise, and what you do on the hard floor?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bigger guy, 6'9". I can shoot the three, and if you put a small guy on me, I'll take him down the post and attack these mismatches. And closeout situations. If a guy's long closeout at me, I can shoot it. So he's got to get really tight, which allows me to blow by and kind of use my athleticism. And then, every once in a while, I can go up and punch it on someone if I get a good head start. So.
Take us through your journey. You started playing basketball in Canada with the Manitoba Bisons. Kind of explain that league in Canada. Obviously, basketball is sprouting up everywhere internationally. I'd say it's easily the number 2 sport in the world behind soccer. Take us through your initial journey in Canada and how it got you to High Point.
Yeah, so I played 2 years at university in Canada. It's like the Canadian NCAA is essentially called U Sports. So, I played 2 years there, had 2 very successful years, and ever since I was a kid, my goal has always been to play Division I basketball and go to the tournament and all this. So I kind of had a few options coming out of my second year. I could have returned and keep playing in Canada. I had a very successful career, but I was like, you know what? Like I want to take this jump. I'm ready for a new challenge. And my coach at High Point kind of reached out to me, and we stayed in contact all summer and kind of worked through some things. And I felt like, you know what, I think this is a really good opportunity. I think I really fit there, and then kind of got to High Point, and then excuse me, my coach at High Point is he came from Creighton. He was at High Point for 2 years. He played at Creighton. He's been there for a long time. He's from there, and he had an opportunity to go take a job back at Creighton. So he left after my first year there. So I kind of decided that hitting the portal would be the best move for me. He was the guy that kind of recruited me there. I had a really close relationship with him. So and then I obviously got in contact with Coach Riley, and I'm super excited about this new situation next year.
Was Coach Riley the first person on the staff to reach out to you, or was it a different assistant coach?
I believe it was either Coach George or Coach Jerry. So Coach George knows like two people who I've played basketball for before, so we kind of had some mutual connections there. And Coach Jerry Brown, just had reached out to me earlier too. But those two guys might have been the first point of contact. But I've spoken with a whole bunch of them, and nothing but fantastic conversations with all of them.
Who else, when you entered the portal, if there are another couple schools that were in the mix that you can give us, were there any other schools that you were looking at?
Yeah, like my top like 3 or 4, I guess you could say. I was looking at UC Santa Barbara, Pacific University, Duquesne out east. Kind of like the top 4, maybe I would say. So all around I mean, I don't know. Washington State, just like I was saying before, like their play style and my meetings with the coach and kind of how they build these relationships with their players just stuck out to me immediately.
In terms of the current players on the roster that may have helped you around campus or the facilities or this and that, you are now number 5 in terms of international players. There's only 3 American-born players on this team right now, so you guys are, outweighing the American guys. But yeah, go ahead. Who kind of helped you out in terms of bringing you around campus?
Yeah, I met ND. He came to lunch with me. I got to watch him work out. Kaysen also came to lunch and dinner, so I got to meet him a little bit, and Tomas came to dinner as well. So those three guys I kind of got to meet a little bit, and all seem like great guys. And that was kind of the other thing that Coach Riley talked about in his recruiting. He's like, I like to recruit just good guys, so we can have such a good kind of team environment. And I think it shows in just those 3 guys that I briefly got to meet.
What do you think about all this international flair? You're the only North American international player we have. The other four are from Europe. But what do you think about the amount of international and European flair you guys have this season?
I mean, like you were just saying, basketball's probably the second largest sport in the world right now. Like, look at the NBA, all these like award winners and MVP candidates, all of them are international guys. I think it just shows that international basketball is growing, or I wouldn't even say growing, just getting that same recognition as basketball in the U.S. So many teams out there have more international guys every year and year. So I think it's cool to see that the staff here trusts all these international guys and can bring them in and be successful with them.
When do you plan to get to campus and start your summer or your spring? What's the plan for you?
That I'm not sure yet. I think they said we have to be there by probably like early June or something like that. Sometimes it's nice to get there a couple days before that to get your bearings, get used to your way around campus, time change, all that stuff. So I don't have an exact date yet, but I would imagine, early June or late May or something along those lines.
Well, Simon, thanks so much for taking 10 minutes out of your morning, and really looking forward to seeing you on campus and playing at Washington State. And congratulations on joining the Coug family.
Thank you. I'm so excited to get there and get working this summer.
Awesome, Simon. Thank you so much. High Point transfer Simon Hildebrandt, also a 2025 NCAA tournament player. We're looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Simon. Have a great day.
Of course. You too.